All right, guys, just like in the message I just sent, I'm going to do a couple of, a few posing tips here to get a real natural look for Hank. So let me see. My camera seems like it might be hazy. Let me make sure the lens doesn't need clean. Hello. Okay. I think it's actually just because where I have him in the light. Yeah. All right. So, yeah. I feel like I'm pretty good at, for prototype photos and stuff, at getting figures to look really natural. And the cool thing is this outfit has some really neat features, as we discussed, that really help with that. In particular, the memory of the jacket. So remember, this jacket has memory, so more or less where you put it is where it's going to stay. My wrist pegs broke, by the way, and they're proprietary in this body, so that's why there's some special stuff there. But anyway, so where you put this, it's going to stay, which also means without the need of a wire, you can pose the coat in like dynamic ways to look like it's moving, and for the most part, it's going to stay where you put it, okay? So I'm going to use sort of the poster pose of his arms way out to kind of show what it is that I do to get some things looking pretty natural. So first things first, with his legs way splayed out, that means his ankles are going to need to move. I wanted to show a little bit more of a close-up. So let me get my light here. In the video, if you remember, I talked about the shoes and a line. The line I was talking to is where the ankle adapter attaches. So when the shoes are pushed all the way in, that line is right near the top of the shoes, and that's where you get very, very little articulation, okay? If you just pull this shoe out a little bit to where you have maybe about a 1/4 inch below the line, all of a sudden you get all that articulation, which is going to help a ton with posing like on the piano. So I'm going to make sure to do that for both of the shoes real quick. Let's see where I am. All right, I'm pretty good. All right. And then for the piano pose, he's got both of his arms way up. Now, if you just do that, look what happens with the coat. I mean, that just looks terrible. It looks like a hunchback. So you're going to want to... Oh, I have the dynamic stand attached to him right now. I did not mean to do that. You're going to want to pull down on the back of the coat once you put his arms up. Hey, there, now we have the coat sitting much more flush on his shoulders. Really quick. While I keep showing you this, I'm going to put this back where it was. Okay. That's another trick. Like, if you want to pose him with his arms down, one way to make the jacket not look, like, real big is before you put the arms down, pull back on it a little bit where you have some of the extra back here, then put his arms down, and now it looks like a much more form-fitting, like, to his size, and it makes it look good in scale. And then if you want to close it more, gently pull on it so that you get some of that excess material, but a lot of it's still back here so that he doesn't look all huge. Now this is a kind of an oddly puffy sort of loose coat, but that's one of the little tricks that I use when posing. But anyway, let's put his arms up. Let's pull his coat down now. See that? You can see the huge difference, okay? I'm gonna turn his head down a little bit, which isn't super easy with the articulation here. And then legs way apart. Now in the poster pose, his legs span all 7 keys. So that's what I'm going to try to do here. So we're going to line it up. Let me turn my tripod here. Kind of test it. All right, that's gonna press all the keys. Okay, maybe even a little farther. Now, you don't want to tear the pants in the middle, so make sure you give him a little extra. Okay, then this is why we did the ankle articulation. We can turn these in, so like if they were straight with the foot, it'd be like that. We want to turn these in a little like he's turning his ankles to be pressing the keys. Okay? And then when I pose him on the arm with this jacket, I actually lift the jacket up. I'm going to move Zoltar out of the way a little bit. I'm going to put the posing arm around his shirt only, not his jacket. And then I'll pose his jacket over it. All right, so hopefully I've got this all in frame. There we go. Okay, now look at his crazy, ridiculously flying up jacket. So I'm going to go in here, pull the jacket down now. Okay, and then again, here's where the cool material really comes in. He's supposed to kind of look like he's kind of jumping around, right? So there should be some motion. So you can pose this jacket like in all sorts of neat positions with the with the memory and really make it look like it's flying, up or moving in the direction. Like maybe we want it to look like he just came down on the keys and so he's down, but his jacket's still up. That's kind of what this sort of look is for. Okay. And then, the weight of the jacket on his arms would pull down a little bit. So let's have that down. Okay. Down. And again, that memory holds that jacket in place. And just right there, I mean, I think that looks awesome. That is poster classic pose. So pull his shirt down a little bit. Now his collar isn't popped the way it should be technically. I think in the movie a lot of times he's got one sort of side of it down like this. Let's see if I can get this back. So you want to flip it most of the way. There we go. And that way he's got it popped on the right side, not on the left. Now I'm going to hold that in place and adjust his shirt down a little bit so that the posing arm is pulling on his shirt a little bit and keeping it down. And there we go. Maybe have him lean a little bit. And I think that's a really, natural looking pose. His clothes have real weight and movement to him. He looks less doll-like and he looks more like a shot right out of the movie. So hopefully some of those tips make sense. I just now realize I kind of have him have high waters. So I'm going to... Now he would have him a little bit because his legs are so spread apart, but I want him to go down so they look as natural as they can. Yeah. Don't want to flip his shirt there. I think that looks funny. But I think, what makes your figures look nice and natural is like hitting all those little details. So, let me move my tripod out of the way. I think that's probably how I'm going to display him for now. I like some of my prototype images where he's like jumping up off the piano or he's touching it with one foot. I think that looks really cool too, so I might do that. But it's kind of, how do you beat the poster look? Maybe, I don't want to mess up. I think I have him in a really good pose, but I feel like his arms could stand to be just a touch higher or maybe a little lean. Yeah, there we go. All right, yeah, so hopefully some of those tips and just some of the things I think about when I'm posing help you guys out. But yeah, I just wanted to go through that a little bit and see if that helped anyone out.